Have you ever seen those videos where someone does like, I tried doing this for a day. I tried writing like Neil Gaiman for a day. I tried writing like Stephen King for a day. I tried being a gymnast for a day. Well, I'm a songwriter, so I thought I could try writing a song like Taylor Swift.
You say I'm too deep for a Saturday night. Those girls got nothing to say.
But first, let's break down a few things that make Taylor Swift's songs recognisable. She writes really catchy, interesting hooks based on a phrase. Her songs are often upbeat, but they're also tinged with sadness. And she tells stories that are driven by clearly defined characters. Something that Taylor Swift does all the time in her hooks is she'll take a conversational phrase and she'll turn it into the hook. And she often does this by taking part of that phrase, a word or a couple of words, and repeating them. In Shake It Off, Taylor uses the common phrase, just shake it off, and turns it into the hook of the song, simply by repeating a word over and over again. So let's try that same technique for our chorus. I'm going to take the phrase, but you left me the car, and repeat it. But you left me the car, yeah, you left me the car, you left me.
We're just friends, but you left me the car, yeah, you left me the car, yeah, you left me.
So we've written the hook, but we need to create a world around this song, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to use something called sensory language. Sensory language is used in nearly all songwriting, and Taylor doesn't shy away from it. Sensory language are words that are linked to the reader's five senses: touch, sight, sound, smell, and taste. An example of Taylor combining a common phrase with sensory language is in her song Cruel Summer, when she takes a common phrase, roll the dice, and embellishes it with a scene that makes it come alive. Now it's time to take a look at the verse. Taylor often uses her first verse to set the scene. Let's use her song Betty as an example. The verse starts with the narrator, Betty, I won't make assumptions about why you switched your homeroom, but I think it's 'cause of me. Instantly, these words tell us something about the world these characters live in, what age they are, and some of the struggles they're going through. It paints a picture very quickly. So let's try something similar for our first verse. Met you at the DMV, you're Turkish, live in Germany. There's a little bit of the scene already. This person is at the DMV, so something to do with a driving license, perhaps a test. The guy is between two countries. Later on, we get more scene setting. A month down Turkish roads, you got my camera, took a photo. Now these two are driving together. We can see that they're in Turkey. It's been a month, so it seems to be an extended holiday. Maybe one of them lives there, but it can't be the guy because he lives in Germany. Either way, we get the sense they're in Turkey, taking driving lessons together, and this guy has a nice car he's offered to let her drive.
Well, I am deep for a Saturday night, and you're my one.
We've talked about how Taylor often structures her songs lyrically, but what about musically? I've chosen a chord progression she often uses, 1-6-4-5, and I'm using the chords G, E minor, C, D on capo 6. Something that is a common technique in her songwriting is to make the verse melodically static, just using 2 or 3 notes. This means that when it comes to the chorus, the difference between a static note over and over again and a sudden jump to a higher selection of more varied notes makes it really enjoyable to listen to. The difference between those two melodies is going to make your brain think that something really exciting is about to happen.
You caught a look in my eye I didn't know I had, and I felt my heart go. You say I'm too deep for a Saturday night. Those girls got nothing to say.
I always think Taylor Swift's songs are a wonderful example of character-driven writing. Blank Space is a great example because this is a song where Taylor wrote a character based on an image the media created about her. She made a fictional character aimed at hurting her into a great song. In her album Folklore, the songs revolve around 3 different characters, almost creating a novel. Her songs are full of layers of meaning, and this makes her worlds rich and slightly intoxicating. In our song, One Summer's Day, we can find some layers too. On the surface, it seems to be about a summer fling, but if you listen a little closer, it's about 2 friends who are struggling with the tensions of feeling something more than friends. Dig even deeper, you start to realise that actually it's the narrator who's the problem. She tells herself every night they're just friends, but later on she becomes jealous. She says it's because he's not brave, but she doesn't make a move. She really likes his car, but does she like the car or the guy? Has she mistaken her feelings for the car for feelings towards the guy? A quote that inspired me for this song was from Pride and Prejudice, the 1995 BBC Pride and Prejudice TV series, where Jane asks Elizabeth when she fell in love with Mr. Darcy. It always makes me laugh, the fact that we never really know whether Lizzie fell in love with Mr. Darcy or his house.
Dearest Lizzie, do be serious. How long have you loved him?
Well, it's been coming on so gradually, I hardly know. But I believe I must date it from my first seeing his beautiful grounds at Pemberley.
Can you say I'm too